everyone, Shubhkamnaएं. My name is Anita Makharia and I'm the CEO of Shubhkamnaएं Events and Experiences. We are into the business of creating mesmerizing experiences and celebrating your happiness. We are a team of young enthusiasts creating impactful and truly mesmerizing, memorable events for our clients by combining style with elegance and traditions with innovations. We cater to three verticals of the event planning and management, that is corporate events, weddings and milestone celebrations, as well as BTL activations. This is a small introduction of me and my company. In our previous sessions, we have been learning about what is an event, who an event planner is, what are the different types of events, what are the scope of events, what is the demand of events, what do you need to do to be a good event planner. And I'm sure most of you remember all this. In case you still have any doubts, you can reach out to me at my email address, which is provided at the end of the session. Before we begin our next session on entrepreneurial competencies, I would just do a small check on, hope you all are having your pens and pencils, your water bottles, your books, and please make notes as we speak. In case you still have any doubts and clarifications required, feel free to reach out to me at anitamakarya@gmail.com and please expect a revert within 2 to 3 working days. In today's session, we are going to talk about being an entrepreneur. We would learn on what you mean by an entrepreneur, what are the skills required to be an entrepreneur, what do you mean by competency, event feasibility, what is meant by screening process, and what do you mean by progressing the idea. Before we begin to what an entrepreneur means, I would like you to go through this quote which says, if you don't build your dream, someone else will hire you to build theirs. It is a very powerful quote, and if you just close your eyes and think about this and position yourself. We have learned in our previous sessions that under scope of events that what can you choose to be into the event industry. You can choose to be an event manager, event planner, event designer, or an event coordinator. Also, you can choose amongst the various other departments that are available. I had also mentioned in my previous sessions that you can actually work with an existing event management company in any one of the departments, or you can choose to be a freelancer working with other event partners on project basis. And the most interesting part is being an entrepreneur, that is owning your own event management company. And that is where being an entrepreneur comes into picture. So what do you mean by being an entrepreneur? Who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is somebody who seizes an opportunity and creates a new business model for themselves. He is generally known to be an innovator, a source of new ideas, a risk taker. He is willing to bear all the risks which may come in the path of the business, and he wins all the rewards of the efforts, dedication, innovations, time, effort put into this business as well, since he is his own boss. Okay. So, for example, if I have to put it in simple words, I am an entrepreneur because I own my company. I'm the founder of the company, and currently I'm serving as the CEO of the company. So I am a business owner. I have taken the calculated risk of managing and running my unit and my firm. So it is basically just that you own your business, you own the responsibilities, and you enjoy the benefits of that particular business as well. I hope there's no confusion on that. Yeah. So, generally, who becomes an entrepreneur? It is a person who is very passionate about a a particular product or a service or an industry, he has an ambition to grow. He has the basic knowledge or the skill sets that are required to take him upwards to the path of success and growth. Okay. So generally, when we talk about a skill to become an entrepreneur, what is expected from you? Can anybody who's just passionate become an entrepreneur? To a certain extent, yes. But will that be enough for you to survive the market? Say, I'm very passionate about events, but I don't know anything else about events. I don't know what are the different types of events. I don't know what elements go into an event. Will that help me in becoming a successful event planner just because I'm passionate? No. So there are certain elements which have to be in the right mix that actually brings you forward to the level of being a successful entrepreneur. So these are skills and competencies. So generally, whenever you say, when a person senses an opportunity, he tries to seize that particular opportunity and he tries to mobilize all the resources around him in such a manner, be it internal resources or external resources. He tries to convert all these available resources into products and services such that in the process he makes profit. So on one hand, you're using all your knowledge, skills, resources in finances. Along that, you're putting in your time, effort, your creativity, your financial capacities that you can work in. You mobilize everything with the intention of meeting your client's objective and making profit in the process. That is when you are a business owner. That is when you're an entrepreneur. If profit making is not a part of your goal, final goal, then you are not a entrepreneur. Okay. The reason why I say that you're not an entrepreneur is because the whole idea of running a business is making money. For yourself, for your company, so that the people who are behind you, your teams, your workers, your employees, your vendors, they all need to pay their bills as well. So this is basically that we talk about being into skill events. Okay. Coming back to the previous slide, I would just like to tell when I mentioned about skills and competencies, there is a very thin line of difference between skills and competencies. Skills are basically more characteristic in nature. They are your abilities, okay, wherein you engage. It's more to do with your behaviors. Whereas competencies are attributed more towards the knowledge, which can be demonstrated through action and behaviors. And they generally are a stepping stone to your success as well. So, for example, if I say I'm very good at drawing, would you call it as a skill or a competency? Yes, it is a skill, but it can lead to a competency as well. If I understand the brief of the client and I can use my skills in such a manner that I can actually conceptualize it and present it, design it and present it to the client, that is where I become competent. Okay. So first we will talk about the basis of being an entrepreneur. Okay. As I said, you need to be, first and foremost, you need to be passionate about what you want to do. And at the same time, you need to be determined and confident, because at the end of the day, you are representing your company and you know what you want to do. Achieving the client's goals and objectives for that particular event should be your goal and objective as well. Okay, and you should not be afraid to take risks. When I talk about not afraid of taking risks, it does not mean that you take each and every risk which is there just because it's supposed to be a skill trait. You should be able to take calculative risks. When you talk about calculative risks, you should know, you should be able to gauge what is the chances of a risk versus a profit or a loss. Okay, will it lead to any bigger damage? Most of the times, we as business owners feel that we are running our companies very, very successfully. If Formula 1 worked for us, we want to retain Formula 1. There are chances that we do not want to change our modus operandi. But in today's world, what I would strongly recommend is that you should be open to learning. Le- Open yourself to learning, to trainings, to knowing more about market conditions, adapting to new changes. It is very important because in today's world, it is a fast moving economy, and there are lots of changes in the in the technology which is happening. People are adapting to new cultures. So if we are not going to keep ourselves constantly updated, it becomes very difficult for us. So once you are very open to learning, you need to adapt to the changes which are coming about in the society in general and the economy as well. You need to have a very strong understanding of money management. At the end of the day, everything boils down to your finances. You may have a very good idea plan, but in case you're not able to pull in your resources in the client's budgets, then even the best of the plans cannot be executed. Whenever you have your money management in control, it will not only make sure that all your expenses are accounted for and a provision is made for them, you also keep a provision for profit making for your organization as well. You need to be networking experts. Event industry is a people's industry. You are working day and night with people around you, be it your clients, be it your teams, be it your vendors and suppliers, be it your departments, be it your hotels or venues, be it logistics, be it travel and tourism, be it hospitality. You are dealing with people. Your business will grow only when you have a strong network. Most of our business comes from word of mouth referrals as well as our previous work. So until you do have a strong network, it is very difficult for you to grow as an entrepreneur. You need to be great at selling and promoting. I would not say good at selling, because being good enough in today's world it's as good as being average. So you need to be great at selling if you want to stand out as one of the topmost event planners. Okay. As I said, passion and motivation, being dedicated, being self-confident and believing in yourself. Only when you believe in yourself will it be possible for you to pass on the same belief to your clients and to other people around, that yes, you are very good with your work. So, and you need to put in efforts. You need to be very disciplined in your work approach. By discipline, I mean maintaining your time management, taking care of your finances, being very, very strong on your work ethics. Once a deliverable is promised, please make sure that you are delivering according to what was discussed. Okay, you should have a thorough knowledge of the business that you are into. What is the market? You should have a clear understanding of the market conditions as well. What is new? Have you updated yourself? Are you into upskilling of your staff as well as you? Most importantly, you should know how to deal with failure. I hope you never have to come across any such situations, but at the same time, events are unpredictable at times. Being prepared for the unprepared is the core competency which is very strongly required in any event planner. At times, plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D may all fail. Are you able to handle that? Are you strong enough to pull yourself out of it and still take your company to the next level? As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, it is your duty to ensure that at any point of a time, your company is already just going upwards on the growth axis. Okay, would you not want to do that? Would you not want your company to be growing well? So these are basic skills and competencies which are required. Certain are your inborn talents and certain talents are what you can always train yourself or teach yourself with. Okay, and believe me, practice makes everyone perfect. So the more you practice these personal traits, the more easier it becomes for you. This is still in continuation with the skill sets required. The previous two slides were talking about the skills that you require as an entrepreneur. Here I would like to get a little more into detail about the skills that you require also as an event planner. Okay, the first and foremost is taking an initiative. What do I mean by taking an initiative? Are you a go-getter? Or do you wait for an opportunity to knock to your door? We've always heard the saying that opportunity knocks your door only once. What if you miss it? Are you going to sit back doing nothing about it and wait ki when the next opportunity comes? And trust me, no opportunity knocks your door and tells, "Hey, I'm an opportunity for you to do business. Would you want to take me in?" It does not happen. Many times you realize that you lost an opportunity only when you've lost it, and then there's nothing doing. You cannot get it back. So I would suggest that when opportunities don't come knocking at your door, or you fail to notice the opportunity, create a door for yourself. Create new opportunities for yourselves. Looking at the door, create windows also wherein you have still smaller ways of queries coming in. That is where your networking comes into picture. So it is like, do you take actions? I'll give you a small example to make this point a little more interesting. Say you have a friend called Rakesh, okay? And Rakesh has a friend called Nayan. Now, from somewhere, you actually get to know that Nayan is getting married. Now, what would you wait for Nayan to find you as an event planner, okay, and come and approach you, ki, hey, I'm looking for a wedding planner. Would you like to do my wedding? Chance, it's a very competitive world. Probably Nayan may not even know you, okay, or probably he may come to you. But what happens if you call up Rakesh and you say, "Rakesh, how are you doing? Long time." Just have a basic casual conversation, and then come to the point. Ki, Rakesh, I just got to know that Nayan is getting married. Do you know about it? So he may say, "Yes, I know." Rakesh, how about you introducing me to Nayan? You've seen my work previously. Probably I can help him, with all his wedding celebrations, ease his life, and, both of you can get more time to spend with each other. So what happens is, now Rakesh remembers that, okay, I need to talk to Nayan about you as a wedding planner. So what have you done? You've created an opportunity for yourself instead of waiting for the opportunity to come to you. Most likely chances are that you may just get that event for yourself. It sounds interesting, right? So you need to be a doer. Look forward, look beyond what is seen. And that is what an entrepreneur should always do. Act upon the opportunities. Okay. The second point that I would like to stress upon is communication. You need to be very persistent in your communication. Communication is the key to success in any kind of a business, more so in event planning. Okay, your communication starts right from marketing yourself or building a brand image for yourself. It starts when you are talking with the client. It continues when you understand what the client wants. You come and delegate the same within your team. You're trying to communicate the client's idea of, or the goal and objective of the event into a concept, or into an ideation, into a creative designing, and a proper plan for meeting that particular goal or objective. And that is where communication comes into a picture. Okay, and so you need to ask yourself, do you have the energy to create more opportunities and do more business? And for this, you will have to take care of all your managerial, technical aspects, how you coordinate, because your communication is not just with one person. Your communication will be with various departments within your organization and outside your organization. The way you talk to your teammate will not be the same when you're talking to a government body for approvals and permissions. It will not remain the same when you're talking to a client. It will not remain the same when you're talking to your vendor or a supplier. Hence, you have to focus a lot on the way you speak. You need to be very polite. You need to be a very good listener. You need to be able to communicate ideas in a manner such that the other person understands what you are trying to say. Communication includes all marketing collaterals. It includes your verbal communication. It also includes your written communication as well. Okay. How do you overcome the obstacles in communications and other obstacles which may lead, which may be a product of miscommunication or incomplete communication or not clear communication? Of course, it is always if communication is not your greatest skill, you can always take up some extra courses and learn the importance of communication and how to better yourself at this. The next point I would like to talk about is seeking information. You are, without having the right information, it becomes very difficult for you to convey an idea or communicate further. So, first of all, getting the information about the market, okay, getting information about your competitors, getting information about your clients, getting the information from your clients about the objectives or goals that they want to achieve through that particular event, irrespective of what the type of event is, be it a social, be it a corporate, be it a musical concert or a fashion show or a awards or rewards ceremony. So you need to get regular updates. You need to gather all this and incorporate this information in the planning stage itself. You need to have information about all the resources available. Who are your vendors? Who are going to be the suppliers? What do you have in-house? What are your internal resources? What will be your external resources? Okay. Once you have all this, you actually need to now gather about the information pertaining to your finances to create a budget estimate. Now, whether you can manage all this on your own, or do you have a department which will manage this for you, or are you going to outsource this to another agency, is the job of an entrepreneur or a business owner. Thinking about all these. Okay. The next very important aspect is quality. You have to have a very strong hold on the quality of your deliverables. We are into a service industry. Okay, and in what can set you apart from other event planners is the quality of deliverables that you can actually present to your client. Would you like to engage in activities that enable you in delivering just what was promised, okay, or delivering beyond expectations? Do you want to step one up from your comfort zone and do something more, such that your client is very happy with the way you've executed that event? Or do you compare your work, your company work, with the other event planners' work or with others in the market industries? Okay. This is very important when it comes to commitment. You need to have a very strong commitment of your work. You need to have a strong commitment towards your company, towards your departments and your staff, towards your client. And only when you have a strong commitment would people respect you and would like to work with you further on. Because your work is your topmost priority and you are responsible for finishing that particular work to the client's satisfaction in the stipulated time period. Now, how are you going to manage this? What are the efforts that you're putting in? Are you addressing all the concerns of the client? How much of yourself are you putting into it? Or you've just delegated the work? You've just told you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, and you're not overseeing the work after that. And business entrepreneur has his eyes all over. His hands may be different, but his eyes are all over on the department, because always remember, at the end of the day, you are the face to the client. For this, you need to be very, very efficient in your work. Finding ways to do things faster, gathering all your resources in using them optimally, reducing costs as and when, wherever possible. You need to pool in not only your resources, but also all the people together. Okay, and that is when you can have a strong quality control, and at the same time, you can always gauge your resources versus all the benefits that you need to gain and give to the client versus the quality versus the budgeting, finally leading to profit making. Okay, so everything actually gets correlated here. All this will be possible only when you have a systematic planning and problem solving, strategizing concepts in place. Okay, So you need to develop a step-by-step plan. A process should be set into the organization from the grassroots level itself. Identify strategies at micro levels leading up to the macro levels. Okay, and you need to harness all your resources such that all your departments actually work as only one department, because at the end of the day, irrespective of what department you are from, even as a multitasking industry, you need to be a multitasker. Okay, at times there are chances that you need to be very assertive and persuasive in your discussions. What There is a difference between being persuasive and being assertive. Being persuasive is generally when you need to sell, okay, or when you need to convince somebody of a idea or a product or a service. So here again, communication plays a very important role. You need to influence what you think is right or what you want to happen. So only when you have a good strong communication, when you have a right attitude, when you have taken the initiative of bringing all your resources together, that is when your strategy falls in place. Okay, can you convince somebody to actually buy your product or service, or close on a budget which is best suited according to you? This is where your persuasiveness comes into picture. As I was telling you about attitude, attitude determines the strength of an entrepreneur. By attitude, it involves all your interpersonal skills. How are you a go-getter? How strong is your goodwill? Do you have strong ethics? Okay, do you manage your time well? Do you respect your commitments? Do you actually deliver as per what your promise is? It is attitude, attitude, and attitude which makes a business entrepreneur succeed or fail. Having said all this, I would like you to now take a couple of minutes and list all the skills that you possess as an event planner. I just ran you through 3 slides in which we were talking about different skills: being passionate, being dedicated, being a hard worker, being good at communications, being creative, being a multitasker, being able to take calculative risks. What are the skills that you possess as an event planner? And would you like to become an entrepreneur? Do you have it in you? Hoping that you've made a note of this. You can always get back to me at my email address. Yeah. Now coming to this point where we are going to talk about our next topic, which is event feasibility. The word event feasibility itself is self-explanatory. What do we mean by event feasibility is when you have had a briefing session, you come up with so many ideas and concepts, and you want to do this, you want to do that. There's so many ideas in your mind. Now you need to assess the feasibility of these ideas and concepts. Are these going to be doable? Which ideas are going to be, the best ideas for the successful outcome of this particular event? What is the kind of approach? What is the system that you're going to use? What is the best approach that you can do? Do you have limited expertise, or do you have the bandwidth for this? Do you have all the skills that is required? So all this is discussed in 3 particular heads. One is your business expertise, wherein do you have the required resources? Do you have the required market information? Do you have the skills for it? Second is your operational feasibility study. In operational feasibility study is you have to gauge whether this particular thing is doable or not. Do you have the logistics supporting you? Do you have the, say suppose there's a wedding wherein I need 500 rooms in Bangalore. Now, is there a hotel or a resort which gives me 500 rooms? So here I have a operational challenge. So that way you will have to look at the challenges that you may face and see whether that particular idea or concept is doable or not doable. Next is your financial feasibility. You may want to bring the stars and the moon and the sky down for your client. Okay, all of us want to do it. But do our finances permit? So in the limited, so certain ideas may, it may be very good. You have the expertise to execute it. There are no operational challenges, but the client does not have the budget to do it. Would you still go ahead and do it for your client? If you do it, very good. But if you're a business entrepreneur, until you see that there's a profit in it, or at least you're doing it cost to cost, it may not be a viable decision for you to do it. You may want to extend it out of courtesy, out of goodwill, or out of repeat business, or out of personal relationships. But those are one-off cases. Generally, financial feasibility is a very important factor in choosing the right idea and concept. Next we come to screening of ideas. When you have so many ideas and concepts in your mind, what happens is now you have to narrow it down. You have to filter it down. So you've already used the marketing, you've already used the operational, you've already used the financial feasibility studies, and say you come up with, say, 5 or 6 concepts and ideas still. Now, these many ideas may start confusing you. You need to assess the situations and make final plans accordingly. So you may have an initial idea for screening, and you may proceed with that particular idea because that may be the only best suitable idea at that moment, or you may go through a generic process. What do we mean by generic process is these are most frequently coming back ideas in your mind. So you have a few concepts and ideas, and you start screening them with the market conditions, the feasibility studies, everything, and then you go to the operational and financial screening. Now, what is left finally is your final choice, which you will be presenting to the client. Okay, here you will check on how should it be presented to the client. Is this event possible with these particular ideas, opportunities which you've identified and finalized? Will this be attractive enough as a business opportunity, not only for this particular client or product or service, but will it attract more clients? Will it get you the required advantage as well? So this is what you do in screening of ideas. The tips for being a successful entrepreneur would include having a clear understanding of your industry evolution. What are the effects of globalization? What is your market conditions like? So some you already know, and for some you can take the help of certain training materials which are available. You need to work in groups where you can learn and teach each other as well. The tip number 2 would include practicing and developing your interpersonal competency. As I had mentioned earlier, event industry is a people's industry. So you need to have certain very strong interpersonal skills, which includes communication, the way you coordinate or relate to another person in the industry, the way you respect the other person. All these are very important. Certain skills such as communication, delegation, respecting other people can be acquired through practicing, which becomes your habits of character as well. And these habits of characters need not be restricted or related only to your business. But it is, again, since it's an interpersonal skill, it is to do with the person that you are. Most of the people, most of my clients come back to me because of the person that I am. They like the way Anita works. They know that Anita is very strong on her business ethics. They know that Anita delivers more than what is promised. And that is why my interpersonal skills are helping me in growing my business. These are indispensable alongside with your technical habits and your other skills as well. The only way to acquire habits essential for any entrepreneur is by acting in a consistent manner. There's no scope for mood swings. Today I'm happy, so I'm talking well to the client. Tomorrow I had a bad day at home, or I had a mess up with another client. I cannot at any point of time show this to my departments, to my clients, or to anybody for that matter. So you have to be very consistent in your approach, and only then these habits become the driving force of successful entrepreneurial ventures. So what we learned today was, what do you mean by an entrepreneur? What are the skills required to be a good entrepreneur or a successful entrepreneur? What do you mean by competency and event feasibility? We went through the screening process as well. Based on the feasibility, we actually narrowed down on the best suitable ideas or options, optimally utilizing all our resources. And that is when progressing with an idea comes into picture. I shall be discussing more on the progressing of the idea in the next session. I would like to end today's session with a small little quote wherein it says, "The entrepreneur always searches for change, responds to it, and exploits it as an opportunity." Since you are the maker of your life, mold it the right way, right from the start. You need to create opportunities for yourself if you're an ambitious entrepreneur. In case you need any clarifications or any assistance with any of the topics covered so far, you may write to me at anitamakuria@gmail.com. With that, I would like to say Shubhkamna to everybody, and stay safe, and looking forward to our next session.